Parents are supposed to love their kids, but some parents try to unalive you. Today we'll look at
the most evil parents ever.
Like and subscribe to stay safe. We all love our moms, but imagine she disappeared and came back as a ghost
to unalive you.
That's what happened to this boy. Let's take a look.
Mom?
Did you brush your teeth?
Yes? You're scaring me, Mama. Dad, where's Mom?
Mom's not here with us anymore, son.
Holy Roomy, Clouds, I am pretty sure the mom sadly died, and this boy is seeing her creepy ghost. Things get really disturbing, so keep watching.
Yes, she is. I just seen her.
Where?
In the hallway. She asked if I brushed my teeth.
Look, son. She, passed.
What's wrong, Dad?
That ending almost made me pee my pants. In the end of this story, the boy was hurt very bad, which is sad. Let's pray this doesn't happen to us, Clouds. In this incident, a boy was
sadly beat by his parents.
This gets super disturbing, so watch until the end.
Let's talk about a video was found of a man beating a child. Advice for sensitive people not to watch this video. In this cruel and sad video, you can see how a man approaches his daughter and starts beating her so badly that the girl cries in pain and asks for help. He started beating her just because she was playing with her phone.
This is so messed up. Why would you beat someone just because they are using their phone? I hope none of our parents do this to us. Imagine going to Disney World with your parents, and then they trap you and your siblings
in the basement.
That is what happened in this story, so let's take a look.
Parents that we're mentioning in this slideshow are probably one of the worst parents you'll ever have heard of. This slideshow starts off with an image showing the parents, David and Louise Turpin, David and Louise's entire family consisting of 13 children, and photos of the home that they and their children lived in.
Clouds, could you imagine having 13 siblings? That seems more like a zoo than a house.
However, despite the fact the family looked happy from the outside, this could not be further from the truth. For years, David and Louise would falsely imprison the children in their rooms, performing a variety of different horrendous acts, only ever allowed them to eat once a day and bathe once a year. Eventually, on January 14th, 2018, a 17-year-old daughter of theirs ended up escaping, calling the police, and they were caught. They received 25 years to life.
Clouds, imagine eating once a day and only showering once a year. That is so sad. I am so happy that the older sister escaped. Otherwise, they would still be trapped today. I hope my parents never lock me up. Imagine your parents made you throw away all your toys and banned you from watching TV. That's what these evil parents did. Let's check it out.
These are the worst parents ever. This kid's parents hated Cartoon Network. They called it garbage. So yeah, super controlling parents, but one day it became completely out of hand. One day the parents decided that these kids were bad enough to deserve a real punishment. You've seen nothing yet. So the sister was 14, the brother was 12. The parents made them gather every single item in their bedroom, and then they marched them outside to a giant burn pile.
This is so sad. Imagine having to burn every little thing you have. That is so evil.
March to the backyard. And item by item, they made the kids burn every single thing that they bagged up. Every memory, every photo, every childhood item, completely gone. The next day, they went out to see what was left, and it was just ashes. Their entire lives up to that point, ashes.
Clouds, after this happened, the police were called and the parents were arrested and the children got new homes. Every mean parent like this should be locked up in jail. In this next incident, a girl came home late at night
and found her parents decapitated.
This gets super scary, so watch until the end.
One night, a girl named Jenna came home from her friend's house. When she got home, she went straight upstairs and got ready for bed. Jenna then peeked her head in her parents' room to say goodnight, but they were already asleep. So she went to her room and went to bed. The next morning when Jenna got up, her parents were still asleep. This was weird because they were always up before her. So she went in their room to check on them. Suddenly, Jenna realized that the covers were not going up and down, so she pulled back the covers to see if they were okay. And what she saw made her scream in horror. Jenna's mom and dad's bodies were gone. It was just their head on the pillow.
What the boba, this is horrifying. If I was the girl, I think I would start bawling my eyes out.
Jenna then called the police, and they came and searched the house. They then searched Jenna's parents' closet and found a man in there eating both of their bodies. The man was then arrested and put into an insane asylum, and to this day, Jenna wishes that she woke up her parents the night before instead of going to bed.
I feel so bad for Jenna. She must have been so scared. Imagine a creepy man in your closet ate your parents. That's horrifying. Thank goodness this person is in jail. This next little boy was just praying. That is when his eyes were
Taken out by his mom.
This gets crazy, so watch until the end for a surprise.
She took her son's eyes out because he wouldn't close them during a prayer. In May of 2012 in Mexico, Maria del Carmen Rios Garcia had a sign that the world was going to end. So she got her family together to fast and recite a prayer. Maria told her 5-year-old son to close his eyes during the prayer, but he refused. This prayer was like no other. They were chanting and dancing in a circle, similar to a ritual, and it was obvious that Fernando was just scared. Maria told Fernando to close his eyes multiple times, but since he refused, she got fed up, went to the kitchen to grab a spoon, and dug out his eyeballs.
This mom was so insane that she performed a crazy ritual. I found footage of this ritual, so keep on watching to see it.
She decided to do this so that she could cleanse them. Inside of the home, there was a teenage boy locked in one of the rooms, and as soon as he heard Fernando's screams, he was able to break free and ran outside for help. Officers ended up breaking into the home, and they were met with a horrific scene. Fernando was immediately rushed to the hospital, and luckily he survived. Although Fernando can no longer see, he was given glass eyes and is now in care. A neighbor revealed that he thought the family was just deeply religious and didn't know that they were Satanists.
So it turns out the mom was a Satanist, which is a very evil bad thing. I found the ritual footage on the dark web, so let's take a look. It seems like all their creepy chanting spawned in a demon, which is horrifying. Please don't do anything like this as you may be hurt. This next story is actually about a girlfriend
who locked her boyfriend in a suitcase.
This gets really scary, so watch until the end.
She zipped her boyfriend inside the suitcase, claiming it was part of a game. For hours, he was trapped, struggling to escape while she filmed him, mocking his suffering. She laughed as he begged for help and went to bed, claiming she thought he could get himself out. But by the time she checked on him in the morning, he was dead. She went to trial for second-degree murder and was eventually sentenced to life in prison.
This is so evil. Imagine doing this to someone you love. That is so messed up. I found the real footage on the dark web, so let's check it out.
Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah. It was a good son. He wasn't perfect, but he was a good son. And every time that he come here, every time, he just stand in that wall and he said, Mom, I love you.
Clouds, you can hear how sad the mom is that her son died. I feel so bad for her. Please stay away from evil people like this girlfriend. Imagine your parents locked you in a closet forever. That is what happened to this poor girl. Let's check it out.
Did you know 2 parents in Texas once locked their own daughter in a closet for 6 years, starving her until she weighed only 25 pounds? Her name was 𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗯𝗃. At just 3 years old, her mother and stepfather shoved her into a dark closet and left her there. From age 3 to 8, while other children played and went to school, Lauren lived in shadows. She never saw sunlight, never felt fresh air. There was no bed, only a filthy blanket, no bathroom, just a corner she was forced to use. The door opened only when scraps of food were tossed inside.
This is so sad. How could you do this to an innocent little girl? But Clouds, things get crazy, so keep on watching.
Neighbors wondered why no one saw the little girl anymore. When police finally broke open the closet, they froze. Inside was an 8-year-old with the fragile body of a starving toddler. Pale skin, falling hair, bones pressing through her skin. Doctors said she was barely clinging to life. Her parents, Barbara and Kenneth Atkinson, were arrested and later sentenced to life without parole. The media called it the girl in the closet case. Lauren survived, but her childhood was stolen forever, leaving one haunting question: how could a mother choose cruelty over love?
I am glad this story has a happy ending and that the girl lived. Hopefully, those parents stay in prison forever. This next story is about an adopted kid who was treated very badly. It gets really disturbing, so watch until the end.
Worst Parents Ever, Part 7. This is the case of Ariel Robinson, one of the winners of the Worst Cooks in America. So, pictured here, we have 30-year-old Ariel Robinson, her husband Jerry, their 2 kids on the far right, as well as their 3 foster children, 3-year-old Victoria and her 2 brothers. So on the morning of January 14th of 2021, Jerry was doing yard work when he claimed to hear Victoria screaming from the kitchen and Ariel spanking her. The supposed reason to beating her was because she was not eating pancakes fast enough.
So she hurt her kid just because they weren't eating fast. That's just an excuse to hurt the kid, which is sad.
Jerry didn't intervene, and moments later he came in the house and found Victoria's lifeless body, then proceeded to try and revive her with Tylenol and an Epsom salt bath. Victoria was already suffering cardiac arrest, and by the time they got her to the hospital, she was no longer alive. Ariel first tried putting the blame on Victoria's older brother, saying he had anger issues and beat her, but then put the blame on Jerry. Still, after all of this, Ariel got life in prison, and Jerry faces 10 to 20.
I can't believe she did all these just because she didn't eat pancakes fast enough. Pancakes don't even taste that good, so I understand why the girl did not eat. I'm glad the mother is now in prison, but Clouds, these next incidents made me cry, so watch until the end for a surprise. The next story is probably one of the most terrifying things I have seen in my life. In this story, poor woman was torn into a soup, which is crazy. Don't forget to watch until then.
Let's talk about Before we start, can you follow me on Roblox? Thanks. Blank Room Soup is known to be one of the videos of the website called Dark Web. You may see a man eating a soup, but the soup he is eating was his wife. Why? Because the two masked guys killed her wife and made her eat soup. You can see the tears on his eyes, and he is crying because his wife is dead, and he is gonna be next. Then the two masked guys patted his back, comforting.
This sounds so awful and sad. I was actually able to find footage of this incident, so let's watch it. This is the creepiest thing ever to me. Not only this, but there is also another video of them kidnapping someone, so here it is. This is so awful, and apparently these people are still on the loose. So make sure to stay away from anyone that looks like this.
Elisa Lam incident.
Elisa Lam was known for behaving strangely in the elevator. She has strict parents who sometimes wouldn't let her travel alone or without them. But one day, she was thrilled to be able to travel to downtown Los Angeles by herself. She arrived in Los Angeles on January 26, 2013, and checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 28. On January 31, 2013, she disappeared from the hotel. Her parents were worried and tried to contact her, but couldn't reach her.
This sounds terrifying. Imagine going missing. My parents would be so scared.
They reported her missing, but there was no sign of her for weeks. Meanwhile, guests at the Cecil Hotel started complaining about the water being black and having an unusual taste. The hotel staff investigated, and on February 19, 2013, they found Elisa Lam's body was found floating in the hotel's water tank on the roof.
Oh my goodness, this sounds so disgusting. I feel so sad for the poor girl and the people in the hotel, because the whole time they were drinking that girl's body, and they didn't even know it.
There were no signs of trauma, and the initial conclusion was an accidental death. However, footage from the hotel elevator showed Elisa acting strangely. She was pressing multiple buttons and seemed disoriented and distressed.
It turned out the reason the girl was so scared was because she was being chased. The person that was chasing her probably ended her and put her in a tank, which is so sad. Rest in peace. This last death is the worst thing I have ever heard in my life. You cannot miss this, so watch until the end.
Let's talk about
Selene Delgado.
In the 1990s, a Mexican television channel broadcasted information about missing people. These broadcasts often appearing during commercial breaks, aimed to spread awareness of missing individuals. Each broadcast featured the person's name, age, and date they went missing. One particular broadcast, however, people were shocked. The broadcast of Selene Delgado, a woman who went missing on April 22 in 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗯𝗲𝗿, Mexico City, was allegedly interrupted during a children's television show. Her photo was replaced with an unsettling image.
Selene Delgado López, de 18 años, se extravió el 22 de abril en la delegación Álvaro Obregón. Selene Delgado López se ignora su paradero desde el 28 de mayo del año 2000.
If I saw this live, I think I would actually poop my pants. That's how scary it is.
López, de 18 años, se extravió el 22 de abril en la delegación Álvaro Obregón.
People were shocked because of this. It was interrupted by this man. And thousands of children were horrified.
I did some digging on the dark web and found out that this man was actually the one that kidnapped this girl and was the reason that she died, which is so sad. Comment rest in peace. If you made it here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye clouds.